All right, we are live for episode 1 of the new show on Ellis Highlight Reel. It's called End Zone Rush here on Ellis Highlight Reel. So I am your host, as always, Brandon Ellis. Um, and I got my boys Jacob Perrine and Shane Foley with me, as always, for Limitless Range Basketball. Um, we might have one more with Chris, my baseball co-host, Off the Wall Baseball, join in halfway through. If he does, great. But it's expected to be us four to be on this show every Wednesday night for you guys. And then maybe a fifth. Don't know yet. I have to work the correlations with that. But say what's up, fellas.
What up, what up, what up? Ready to kick off another podcast.
Happy NFL offseason, everyone.
Yeah,
Yes.
huge NFL offseason. So far, a lot of big storylines. Obviously, there was one I forgot to mention to us in the pre-show that when we get to training camp, I'll probably open with that.
Okay.
But let's go ahead and start with fantasy football. Fantasy football is fun for every one of us here. We all have multiple leagues, I'm sure, that we participate in. Depending on how we do in those said leagues, it's it's a every year. But for me, I finished second in my friends group last year, and had a couple other like good finishes last year. But here's here's the kick. I just have fun and try to draft as many Eagles as I can because I don't like if I can help it. So I try to draft as many Eagles as I can. My friends know that. I don't know how I don't know if I'm gonna do that this year because the new offense and how it's gonna look. Even though it looked great today in first practice, we'll get to that later. But I'll probably try to target Jalen and Devontae in a lot of my drafts I have this year because I think those two are going to be cooking. So, say what y'all's fantasy experiences before we get started, and we'll probably talk about receiver average draft positions.
I don't really participate in drafts anymore. I'm more of a draft advisor now than anything else, a fantasy football advisor overall. Like usually, because I used to do it a lot more when I was in college, and now that I'm out of college, I can't really find like friends leagues that I want to do and stuff like that, or even just join a random league. I'm not really into that. But usually, most of the time, people at work they really participate in it. So sometimes they'll come to me and ask me for advice on just like, hey, you think I should start so and so this week? You think I should start this guy this week? Or bench them. Like usually, that's more of my role now. Is more just a fantasy football advisor rather than somebody that participates in it because it's a fun thing to discuss more than really like participate in my opinion.
Shane, you are our resident expert.
Yes.
I would call myself an expert because I do a lot myself, but you are the guy that is writing for the site over at Total Apex Media. Currently, I will write on my site some stuff too on ellishighlightReel.wordpress.com over the next few weeks as well. But go ahead, Shane. Tell us your experience with fantasy football.
Yeah, so with no surprise, this is my favorite time of the year because the fantasy drafts going into the season and then basketball and all that. But yeah, so I've been playing since roughly 2014. I've won 2 leagues, but I will say something that I think that a lot of other fantasy scared to say, but usually effort that put in, those are the drafts that you win, and that was certainly the case in there actually one of them was pretty well fought, and then the other one was just like halfway through, and I was still playing, and I ended up taking that win. So the articles that I usually have done after I stopped covering the technically where starts and for DFS, which is a whole nother beast. DFS is not the same as regular fantasy football. There's, I almost see them two completely.
Yeah, the different variables that are put into each.
I'm usually in 3+ leagues. You do, if you want to get the most out of fantasy, you should show some restraint, I think. I mean, you could go more, you can go over 3. I think that's fine. But some people are in 6, 7. If you're getting into double digits, forget it to see much of a return on your investment. If you're in 10 free leagues, bro, just find another hobby. But won a couple, been competitive a lot, and through writing for the site, and like I said, favorite time of year, just can't wait to get some drafts going.
And I wanted to piggyback off of what you said real quick. I do find that when I auto drafted during my time as when I participated in fantasy football, I found my teams to be a lot better than when I actually, sat down, looked at the numbers and tried to draft guys like, oh, this guy's numbers are good. Let me do this, that. Like, I just found that to be better. And I don't know why, but it just, I think it was just more like you take out the human bias and in the computer system was just like, yeah, this guy looks good. Like, he'll have a good year sort of thing. I don't know.
Yeah. Sometimes it depends on where you draft as well.
Yeah,
like
too.
if you are you drafting on ESPN versus like.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. So where are we at with ADPs this year? Let's go. Jacob wanted to get a receiver first, so let's get into receivers. I'm guessing the top 3 are JSN, Chase, and Brown. Brown.
It's the big dogs. It's Puka, JSN, Jamar, and then from there the top 5 vary. But most draft boards I've been seeing online when people talking about like, okay, this guy's going to have a projected for a good season, so definitely put him in your top 5, receiver list if that you want to get. So from what I've seen, the next 2 after those big 3 have usually been CD Lamb and St. Brown. And to that I say, where the hell is Jettis? Because when I look at the draft boards, most of them have Jettas, being like the 6th or 7th receiver. Because some people are stupid and they'll be like, for my draft board, I'm going to have Malik Neighbors 6th and then Jetta's 7th behind him. I'm just like, no, don't do that. But overall, I just think when you look at the Vikings situation, it's not like last year, because everybody takes last year into account where it's just like he had bad quarterback play. He also was injured for a lot of that season. Now he's coming to a season where, he's got Kyler Murray as his quarterback now, who, is a very capable and good quarterback. And now, and hopefully if he stays healthy, I think he'll have a great season. When I look at these draft boards, I'm just like, Jetta's got to be in there at least top 5, at least. Like, I love Amon-Ra St. Brown, but I just think, Jettis has to be in that top 5 over one of those other 2.
So Shane, did I have it right with the 3 I said?
Good.
Okay, I thought I hadn't had the time to look, but I figure it was those 3 based on last year's production and the situations they're still in.
Yeah.
Well, I actually had a league where I took Justin with the 3rd overall pick, and he ended up being one of my less productive receivers. So like now, does that mean he's going to have the same year next year? Absolutely not. Like you said, he's got a better quarterback at the helm. But I'll tell you this: there's a specific stretch, and I'm looking at the numbers right now. It starts the end of November, And for 4 weeks, he puts up, in terms of fantasy points, he puts up 8 points. Then he puts up 2 points, 3 points, and then he puts up 4 points. So, that's prime time off, and think about it where they're like, when you take a player that high, you think, I'm going to play him because I drafted high for him. So he's my third pick. He's going in the lineup no matter what. You don't care.
He was the first receiver off the board type of thing. Yeah,
exactly. Like, it doesn't matter. However, now, I think one thing that was interesting, because I remember one of these games was against Dallas. That's one where he put up 4 points. And he was getting out received by Naylor, who's now in the Raiders. So I don't know if that's going to affect competition for targets. If with him out of the way, you would think that maybe Justin sees the ball more.
But you still got Addison to worry about too.
Yeah,
that's the
Jordan
thing. Addison, exactly, who is a great. I think once your wide receiver ones are off the board,
going
to be a pretty solid 2. But the other thing too about like Kyler Murray is, you think about a player like Jr., who we've all been waiting to just like go off, and and when Kyler and them played together, it wasn't like that they would have the big game. I think there were a couple games where Marvin Harrison Jr. had like 100 years that were like unbelievable, but then like week to week it would be So in terms of whether Kyler's going to target on every play, probably not. And remember, he's pressured. His coaches are going to tell him to run. He's going to run. So it's definitely going to be like an iffy, but I don't think he does exactly what he does next year. He's not going to have the slump like I just told you. But basically, he has a lower ceiling, lower floor than those other like CeeDee Lamb. If you take Justin over him, I mean that's not a bad pick. But
well, I just got to slightly disagree, just because Kyler and particularly about the Marvin Harrison situation is more so, I think, an issue of Marvin Harrison underperforming rather than like their connection being broken, because when you look at Kyler Murray's like when the Cardinals went out and got AJ Green, the first couple years before AJ eventually aged out, they were great together. And I just think you give him another primetime quarterback who's in his prime. He's still young, got some gas left in the tank. And now you're putting him in a system with a QB guru like Kevin O'Connell. I just don't see where a scenario where Jettas isn't going to have a great year. If like aside from like injuries would be the only thing that would prevent that, obviously. But like outside of the injury thing, I just don't see a pathway for him to not, be a great fantasy pickup this year over somebody like Amon-Ra.
My only thing is with Kyler Murray, and we're looking at quarterbacks in this too with the receivers, with especially the ones, right? My thing with Kyler Murray is sometimes Murray has moments where he doesn't step up to where you want to be for a fantasy quarterback perspective either. And especially targeting a number one. Now, Jettas should help Murray's fantasy numbers this year. So that's where having a great number one receiver benefits the quarterback here, in my opinion. But I still wouldn't have Jettas in the first round. I would draft Jettas probably mid-second in fantasy draft because I wouldn't take a chance. I would rather have CeeDee Lamb or a let's see. I'd rather have CeeDee Lamb. I would rather have a Puka. I would rather have, even though Puka's offseason has been hectic and chaotic.
I would rather. He's still in, with the Rams. So come on, he's going to be productive.
Yeah. And I would rather have Amon-Ra. I really would. And that's comparing two NFC North teams that want to run the West Coast system. Like there's kind of versions of the West Coast system with O'Connell and the Dan Campbell. I can't remember who their new, not the Ben Johnson, but it's their new the OC they had last year.
I think they have the same OC from last season. So
yeah. So they want to run like that. They want to run the ball first, and then play.
Then set up the play action to get the ball down the field. Yeah,
which could benefit Kyler Murray, but I think Goff is one of the best play action passers in the league.
Yeah,
and Amon-Ra eats over the middle.
Yeah.
So that's why I would rather have Amon-Ra St. Brown. Obviously, JSN and Jamar Chase are probably the best two receivers in fantasy this year. The best two receivers in fantasy football are those two guys because they're always going to get the volume. They just fit in their offenses so well. Another one, we'll get to my sleeper receiver one, and I think we all know the answer based on my affiliation. Based on my affiliation to fandom, it is going to be Devontae Smith. I really think Devontae is going to have a leap this year, fantasy wise. He has had wide receiver 2 numbers over the last few years, and he's been ended up one receiver 20 to 28 or something like that. If you look at it, I think he's going to be a top 10 fantasy receiver this year. I really do. Without JJ Brown there, he's the new one. He gets more of the targets. I think him and Goddard will split the touchdowns. I think Lemon's going to have a productive year too. He's a rookie I would look at late too. I would look at Kyle Lemon late just because of how this new offense is going to be. Philadelphia. I really and based on what we've seen today, it's going to be over the middle.
As a fellow Eagles fan, I completely agree with you, and I've been saying for the past 2 years on all these Eagles forums is just like, yes, AJ Brown is the more talented receiver than Devontae. That's no question. But Devontae should be getting AJ's targets simply because he's a more productive and consistent receiver.
I disagree with you about AJ having more talent right now. I mean, back then, yes.
Yeah,
and I agree with you 100%.
In terms of physical talents, I'm talking about physical talents too. That's what I mean primarily. He's faster, bigger, stronger, sort of thing. So I'm just saying that. But in terms of production, I just think Devontae is just more consistent. Like when he gets his targets, which are far and few between, he always executes and gets the ball. So I just feel like, and especially this year, I agree with you. He's going to be a top 10 fantasy and probably the most underrated fantasy pick among the receiver class this season.
100%. Devontae is
right.
Oh, go ahead, Shane. Go ahead.
Right now, I was just looking right now. His ADP is 35 overall.
Yeah, that's a steal. That's a steal.
Yeah, that is a steal.
That's a great position to be in.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, he's ahead of T. Higgins, and I think T. Higgins at 37 is also.
Oh yeah, no. Great fantasy numbers because Bengals offense is a pass-heavy offense with Joe Burrow at quarterback. So
he's always been a great number 2 to Jamar's number 1. So I just feel like he's going to be great too. That's a great pickup. 37. Whew.
Yeah,
37. I'd be so happy with.
Yeah. T. Higgins is another underrated one. I was going to say this too. I wouldn't mind drafting Pickens again because Dallas is going to be one of those top passing offenses as long as Dak's healthy. I hate saying that as an Eagles fan. There's going to be that type of offense.
Well, that's just the way they run this way Schottenheimer was running the show last season. I mean, they were just a great passing offense because you had CD and Pickens was doing whatever he wanted to.
Yeah.
So, I agree on that.
I think Dallas is going to have another top passing offense again. I still don't trust their defense yet, even though they got Christian Parker, they got Caleb Downs. They got a couple of improvements along the edges, and
don't forget they still have the guys that they traded for last season. Yep. So I just feel
what's his name from Green Bay? Because I already forget who they traded with Micah Parsons.
Clark. Yeah.
There you go.
Well, then they added Keenan Williams from the Jets. So I just feel like Yeah, their defense will be better. Actually, this was a topic you wanted to bring up, Brandon. You want to transition into that real quick?
I guess we'll go into it. We'll talk more about fantasy quarterbacks next week and all the more fantasy stuff next week. Really dive into fantasy more so next week. But let's start with some of the training camp notes that we've had for the first few days. We had teams like New England, Seattle, the Rams, and the Niners open their training camps before everyone else's, because especially the Rams and Niners, because they're going to go to Australia, so they have a little bit short of a preseason, so they wanted to get them in earlier. The Kyle Shanahan news is a big one. That was a big one as well. But the one thing I did want to bring up that Jacob kind of alluded to was Dak Prescott. They had their first practice today, like most teams did. And Dak Prescott came into the practice out in California with a Super Bowl t-shirt on. He's not going to be talking to the media till tomorrow, but Lindsey Theory, ESPN reporter Lindsey Theory, caught up with him and asked him why the t-shirt. He said, essentially, why not us? I've been in the league for like 10 years, and I kind of want, why not manifest it? That kind of a deal. That was not the full answer that he gave verbatim, but I paraphrased some things in what I stated. And I'm like, okay, Dak, you've been in the league for 10 years, and you said Super Bowl is the goal. Okay, Super Bowl is always the goal for every team in July. Let's just get that straight. Every team has aspirations, even the terrible teams that we think they're going to be terrible, like the Cardinals and stuff like that. They have the aspirations of Super Bowl. If I were the Dallas Cowboys and what their expectations should be, I don't think Super Bowl should be the major expectations. And because you haven't even reached an NFC title game in the last 30 years. You're the only team
since 96. Since 96.
You're the only team in the NFC to not reach a title game in that span. The only team. The one team that has not reached a NFC title game. Every other team in the NFC has done it. And you're the Dallas Cowboys. Oh, we're going to win the sword. And you got these Cowboys fans like all hyped up and like, just wait. It's like Stevie and I always says, just wait. I'll let you down.
The Cowboys. It's going to happen. They're going to crash and burn. It's an inevitability. It's like taxes. It's inevitability of life when it comes to the Cowboys. Until my mom is a Cowboys fan, so she'll agree with me. She always says,
"Your mom's a Cowboys fan."
My mom's a Cowboys fan. Well, I got family. My aunt is. I've been a huge Eagles fan since about 2012. And it was because I had family that lived in Philly, like outside of Philly. They lived in Pennsylvania, like my aunt and them. So she kind of turned me on to them. My mom, well, she was born in Texas, so she obviously was going to grow up a Dallas Cowboys fan. Growing up. So, but even she's been off the Cowboys train for decades at this point, because she's like, look, I will root for the Cowboys the day Jerry Jones dies. I will literally put my jersey back on. That's the day that'll happen. And it's been that way for the Cowboys for my entire life. It's been like, oh, okay, we're ready. We're gonna make the Super Bowl. We're gonna do all this stuff, and they just every single time, like clockwork, just falls apart right at the perfect time for them.
They let you down in the precise moment. I became an Eagles fan during my NABTO era. In the middle of that era. I was really young, and I remember seeing the NFC Championship, because I liked Mike Vick growing up. I was huge Mike Vick guy, so I was watching the
Same.
So I was like, I was a players guy when I was growing up. I like Mike Vick and Manning and all these guys. And then I see B-Dog hit Crumpler. And when I saw that hit, I was like, oh, this team is my what I want football players to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I was still kind of like for a few years I still liked I really liked Reggie Bush growing up. And when he got drafted to the Saints, I was like, okay, I'm a pseudo Saints fan because of Reggie Bush. And all that stuff. And I was happy for them when they won in 2009 and all that stuff. But that being said, I think I became an Eagles fan around the Dream Team era, like you did, Jacob, like the 2012, 2013.
Yeah. LaShawn McCoy was really my introduction into the team, and I just loved them from that point on.
Yeah, so I still loved. I love the Eagles back in 2004. I like McNabb. I like the team. I like Deshaun Jackson. Yeah. I like those middle to late 2000s Eagles teams. And as well, but I just they just let you down. For especially that 2008 team that lost to the Cardinals that ended up losing to Pittsburgh. It would have been the Keystone Super Bowl if Philly would have won that game against Arizona.
That would have been cool, yeah.
That would have been a fun one.
And then my first ever Eagles jersey was a Jeremy Maclin jersey.
Yes,
the black one. Yes.
My first one was McNabb. I kind of want to get a Dawkins, but those throwbacks are always so expensive.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I kind of want to get a Dawkins one, because I wish I would have got a Dawkins one instead of McNabb one now. But when I was younger, I always went for the flashier players like the quarterbacks and receivers.
Yeah. I was more of like I liked because I played high school ball growing up, so I used to I played safety and I played receiver, so I always geared towards more like those kind of guys, like the Dawkins, of course, and then God, who was another great Hall of Famer that we had? I forget. He wore number 27.
Jeremiah Crowder.
27. He helped us win the first Super Bowl.
Malcolm Jenkins.
Jenkins.
I have a Jenkins jersey. I do have a Malcolm Jenkins.
And then that was literally my first ever jersey, and I've always had pretty much receiver jerseys from there. I got a Deshaun Jackson one. I got a Alshon Jeffrey one, actually.
I wish I would have got a Jeffrey one. That would be
so I got more than a few, and they're all receivers. I think the one I really want to get right now is a Saquon one.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah. So I think with that being Shane, we'll give you time to explain how you became a Pats fan here in a little bit. I want you.
I think it has something to do with him growing up in Boston. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I guess that's what.
That's actually it. That was that's the story.
One day I'm sure that's the reason. I'm sure that's why.
I was born in Worcester, Massachusetts, which is to the left of Boston. That's how it is.
Yeah. That makes sense. So with that being said, I think Dak's expectations, and the team's expectations are always sky high in Dallas, and we all know they're going to crash down. Maybe they might be able to do something this year because they got a decent team. I still think
for them just getting to the playoffs would be a miracle. So
the Eagles are the best team in the NFC East still, in my opinion. We'll get into the division breakdowns a little later, maybe sometime next month or this.
As soon as the preseason starts winding down, we'll get into that.
Well, that's the thing is that I don't know how they're beating the Eagles this year, which I'm sure is good news to you two. And I also Giants and Cowboys are going to be really tough games this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna look. The NFC East is gonna be a pretty competitive division this year.
Yeah,
even the Commanders, I think, will give teams a little bit of grief coming into the season in the NFC East.
Yes.
So I just feel and I don't think, and it's not so much how they beat us. It's more so we'll just win off of we'll just be a more consistent team. They'll have a down month, and we'll just be consistent throughout the year. I just feel especially on offense, I just feel we're going to be so much better with Mannion at the helm instead of Patullo.
Yeah,
so
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
And that's the thing. I know
he's top 5 again.
That's the thing. I know he's wearing the Super Bowl shirt, but I feel internally for Dallas, they're 9-7, and a playoff would be a great season.
Yeah, dude. It's the usual. It's the usual down there in D-Town.
So the usual. I'll order another one and done.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll see. We'll
They'll,
see what
they'll
happens.
probably they'll make the playoffs and then lose to the Niners in either the wild card or the divisional. So
Yeah. We'll see what happens with the Cowboys. Let's get into this. This was the one I didn't mention to you guys. Vita Vea requesting a trade. That was the big one that came out. Because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a few situations contractually right now. It's also been confirmed that Baker Mayfield has ended contract talks, and they're going to go and play on his last year of his deal.
Yeah.
As well. But Vea has been in contract talks all off season, and then all of a sudden, right before training camp starts, he requests a trade, which kind of ties into what I mentioned earlier to you guys before the show is Jalen Carter's new contract extension, 5 years, 100. I think it was $150 million and 112 million guaranteed.
It was 150. It was over 150.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Like it was like the guarantees were like 112.
Yeah.
So it was like the newest, highest paid D tackle contract in NFL history.
Yeah.
A day after Vita Vea requests a trade from Tampa Bay because he can't get his contract, and Lawrence got a high deal after getting traded for the draft. What are y'all thoughts on those two D tackle stories? I'll start with Shane on that.
Well, I'm kind of surprised that the Buccaneers don't want to prioritize paying Vea just because, I mean, Todd Bowles is obviously he concentrates on the defensive side of the football. Weapons away from him. It is funny that the other guy got the deal like directly the day after. But I feel like just in general, Todd Bowles seems to be a coach. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like his job is like always in question. Even though he was the DC the year that they won the Super Bowl with Brady, like all it'll take is like a couple losses in a row, and people will be like, "Why do we have this guy as a coach?" He's led the Buccaneers to, several winning seasons at least.
Right.
But like,
a couple ever since Arians retired. Yeah,
exactly. And like, I don't know, you take away a pass rusher, like I mean, forget the fact that he's pretty good defending the run as well. You take away a pass rusher from a guy who likes to blitz the football. It's to me like I don't know who else they're paying either because they don't have Mike Evans anymore. So so actually the fact that the talks with Baker are done, I feel like that means whatever remaining cap that they have, actually going to a Vita Vea deal because Mbuka's still on his rookie deal. Yeah. So the only person you're paying is Chris Godwin. That's the only. That's the only main contract that you have.
Yeah, it's the only big one that you have currently on the roster. Yeah,
exactly. So I'm sure. Well, obviously, Vita wants to get a deal done. Todd deal done. Hopefully, the front office and all those people can figure out a way to move theirs and get them paid. And Parker was the tackle record-setting deal, right?
Jalen Carter.
Jalen Carter. Yeah.
Jalen Carter.
Carter. So, like that'll just make Veda more pissed, I think. So they got an issue.
Yeah, I agree with all that. And, the thing about Todd Bowles is it was the same way when he was coaching the Jets. It was just like he's a defensive coordinator, yet his defenses are oftentimes middle of the road and okay-ish. They're very mediocre. So it's just I feel like when you look at the situation, it's not so much a cap issue with Tampa when it comes to like Vita. Obviously, the contract talks failed. Mike Evans left. But I think a lot of it has more to do with you don't know where this team is going. You felt like ever since like that first season with Baker under center and they went all the way to the divisional round and lost to the Lions, that they've just been kind of like on a downward trend because injuries obviously are a big factor. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, all those guys have been injured for the better part of their last 2 seasons there. But you just don't know, especially with the coaching staff, that, they don't have like, I just don't think the reason Baker's going to his last year is just like, I just don't have confidence in Todd Bowles. And obviously you had Mike Evans, who's a long time, Buccaneer, leave in the offseason for, a team like the Niners. You're just like, okay, well, are we doing enough to ensure that we're going to have like a competitive Super Bowl championship contending team? And it's just like, I feel like this Vita Vea situation kind of indicates that things are not going well down there in Tampa when it comes to like confidence in that locker room, especially among the star players, is very low because of what has been occurring in Tampa Bay for the last couple seasons.
Yeah, 100%. And to get to the Eagles side of things a little bit, since y'all obviously the Vita Vea side is the bigger side.
Yeah.
The Jalen Carter deal, the Eagles got it done. They got both defensive tackles paid this offseason.
Yeah.
And they'll be in a similar situation next year with the Quinyon and Cooper DeJean deals. And as they're both eligible for extensions after their rookie deals after next year. And I think both those guys will get paid, like Quinyon and Cooper.
Yeah.
Well, Howie will pay both of those guys, so we'll see what the Eagles look like. Obviously, because they're going to get younger offensively, and they're going to get they'll go cheaper and younger offensively, like they did with the defense, and then pay these studs on defense, slow but surely. So we'll see.
The good thing is Howie's such a great drafter that I'm not too worried about like, oh, if we get cap strapped, we're not going to be able to get all these free agents. And I'm just like, well, our Super Bowl team wasn't really built off of free agents. It was more built off of our defense. That was like Zach Bond was an underrated find. What's his name? The other linebacker that left, number 17.
Oh no, Kobe Dean.
Yeah, Kobe Dean. Yeah, stud. Nobody was looking at him. And then obviously our two rookie corners and Mitchell and DeJean. So you're just like, I'm confident in what we do, no matter what happens from this point on, even if we're cap strapped. And Howie, I trust.
Yeah, and how he's going to, and how the deals works, it's like includes his 5th year extension. And it has, I think, 4 void years. It's got the void years, like how we always do these deals. And so that's the thing. So Jalen Carter got his money, got paid. Drew Rosenhaus is happy because another Drew Rosenhaus Eagles signing that works. I agree with you. I mean, like I said earlier, I think both Cooper and Quinyon get paid by Howie next year.
Yeah.
Here's the thing too with the Eagles this year, they will have week 1 as well. They have week 1 on a 1-year deal, and I think it will be a 1-year deal that tests. It will help the Eagles maybe win the Super Bowl this year, and I say maybe. And then Woolen will get an extension somewhere else, like a bigger deal somewhere else. I don't think Howie brings. I mean, I would love to have Rick Woolen back. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. He's a freak of nature at the corner, and him and Quinyon will be a great duo for years to come. But I think they're going to prioritize the 2 they drafted, and I love it.
Exactly.
And have the nickel and the Gene, who got base snaps at safety. So it's going to be him and Makuba and base packages at safety, with Roland and Mitchell on the outside. And then the 3-4, however you want to have the 3-4 stack, in the front 7. So there's that. The Eagle side of it, the Vita Vea side of it. I agree with everything y'all said about the Vita Vea side, and it's just unfortunate that the Bucs, didn't prioritize. Well, they paid him initially with the 4-year deal. I just don't know what his trade value looks like because he is older at 31. He's in his 30s, playing a physically total position at the D tackle.
Yes.
Yeah. So Lawrence situation. Lawrence was like 29, heading into this season, and that makes sense for Cincinnati to give up their 10th pick overall to get an upgrade on defense to help, want to keep Joe Burrow in the Cincinnati Bengals uniform
Yes.
as best as they can. So they finally made the move there after losing Henderson and everything like that. So we'll see what happens with the Vita Vea stuff. I just think Vita Vea is one of those guys that probably will. I think he'll get traded. I just don't know what the package looks like. I think ESPN reported the package would be like a second and a fifth right now.
Yeah, I mean there'll be plenty of teams that'll be in the hunt for him. I do think the biggest team of those will probably be the Lions. I think the Lions will definitely be looking to pair him alongside Aiden Hutchinson. So I just think his time in Tampa is over. It's just a matter of time before he gets traded.
Yeah, I think so. I think he gets traded at this point.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about Shane's Patriots. Let's talk about the AJ Brown, Drake May of it all. So far, AJ Brown, his training camp has had some ups and had some downs. A little bit mostly on the downside, as so far through. This was after yesterday's practice. The stat I have is like 1 for 7 on passes on AJ's targets in the few practices they had together completed. Only one of them was completed. There was one that everyone was showing was a crossing route that AJ did kind of have a step on the DB a little bit there. It wasn't Gonzalez. I don't know. It was one of the other corners that New England had. Had a step that May overthrew him, like you would see sometimes with Jalen last year when he tried to lead him, but he couldn't get him. I don't know if it's AJ doesn't have the same burst because of the knee injuries he's had,
maybe,
or what. It's also like I said, it's day 4 of training camp, so I'm not trying to overreact and saying AJ Brown's not going to have a good year.
Yeah,
like some people on the internet are doing right now. Patriots fans, I've seen that. Some Patriots fans are like, "Oh no, what have we done? We gave."
Or Eagles fans that we traded him away. He's just like, "Oh yeah, he's gonna suck." No. Yeah.
AJ, I think, is still gonna have a good year in a Patriots uniform. But my thing is, I think Devontae's gonna have the better year of the two.
Yeah,
I really do. Here's why. My thing is, and it always has been, AJ's routes and his route ability, and I think there was
his route tree.
His route tree, as you want to say, it's always been limited or less than Devontae's. Devontae can run every route known to mankind.
Well, you can also put him in the slot too, and he does just fine there.
Yeah. Exactly. You can put Devontae anywhere on the field in a receiver spot, and Devontae's going to win 99 out of 100 times his route. And he's going to be, he's going to win the route. There's sometimes that AJ Brown over the last 2 years, not 22, not 23, not when he was dominant AJ Brown.
Yeah.
24, he was still kind of like, this is when the trend I saw. The separation on his routes got decreased. And 25 was the worst. It was one of his worst seasons of separation.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was because the injuries he had with his knee and his hamstring at times, or was it like he's so frustrated with the direction that the offense was going, he's logging routes. Like,
well, can I jump in on that real quick as an Eagles fan? I just think he was what was the word I was looking for? It was like he was his mouth was cashing checks that he
writing checks. His body,
he would
couldn't cash.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was looking for. That was the metaphor. And you saw that. Like, I understand the frustrations. He's just like, I want to get my targets. Like, dude, you're getting the ball thrown your way 10 times per freaking game.
Yeah,
calm down on the targets. You're going to get your targets.
Just look at the playoff game.
The thing is, when you talk about what concerned me, especially after we won the Super Bowl, he's just like, I don't really care about winning the Super Bowl. I just care about killing my man, like killing my opponent.
Yep.
The matchup. And I swear to God, I talked so much trash after we lost against the Niners in the wild card last year because he had so many freaking drops that he was wide open on. And I'm just like, hey, you were open and you were sitting there talking about like, yeah, I like to kill my opponent. You know how you do that? You catch the ball.
Yep. The fact
like,
that he didn't
especially
catch
when
the
you're
ball,
wide open. So
the crosser over the middle on fourth on fourth down or
on that last drive,
on that last drive. On third down with Goddard having to save our season essentially before the first play. But it's just like it at the same time, like I said, Shane, I'll let you go here in a second. Do you
sorry.
Sorry, this was the Patriots angle.
You good.
So here's my thing. I think AJ is gonna be good. Is he gonna be that guy that we all thought was going to be the difference maker after you've seen?
Is he going to be like he was when he was first with Vrabel, like he was in Tennessee?
Or is he or the first 2 years in Philadelphia?
Okay, I'll tell you this. I don't think he can be like early Tennessee, early Philadelphia AJ Brown because I mean, he's going to attract each team's top receiver on every play.
Yeah, top
and
corner.
Like you said, like the injuries, like people act like the NFL, like you get an injury, right, and then you're like out for your 4 weeks, and then you come back, and you should be 100%, and you're just like mint out of the box. It's not the case. Like some injuries, especially with the legs, you're taking years to actually go back to your old self. So I think the more important question for AJ Brown of himself is, can I be the old me, but can I be better than I was in Philly? Because you said something that I totally agree with. There's a subset of NFL fans who are going to be doesn't have a bad season. And they're the Eagles fans who didn't like AJ Brown and wanted him gone. You know?
Yeah.
Because they're gonna be like, okay, New England, like right now, this is your problem.
Well, look, I wanted him gone, but I also want him to succeed. So I'm one of those Eagles fans. Like I wanted him gone, but I also just because of the drama, but I also wanted him to succeed.
After a while,
I'm sure the drama was like taxing for Eagles fans, but the people who were saying like he was walking. Come on, like you're your own player. But regardless of that, now he's a Patriot. I think it's interesting brought up because you're right. Devonta Smith can run every route in the route tree. AJ Brown typically does not, but the routes run are typically home run balls. So, the question to me is like, is he going to do those consistently? Especially like looking at like the other players like we have around versus whether it's like Romeo Dobbs or like our tight ends, and I mean, given the way that Drake May likes to play too, he doesn't like the home run ball too often. He'll throw it a couple times a game, but
he's a good deep ball thrower.
He is.
Yeah, he's got the arm.
He saves it, and like. Knowing the way Josh McDaniels is, he's probably going to draw something crazy that'll like, and then he might tell me, don't throw AJ the ball until we get him in this situation because I want to show this off.
Yeah, take him out. Yeah,
which is like joke. It works a lot of the time. So the question is he going to? I think May's going to deliver. The question is he going to be there to catch those deep balls? The go routes, the deep posts. Yeah. And if he does that, it's going to be a success. And he'll prove a lot of naysayers wrong. But what you say about the drama, but in terms of his talent. Like
his ability, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm biased as a fan, but I also just like to see him, similar to what he was prior when he helped threaten the league.
Yeah, well, because if he's successful, then your offense is successful because then it just opened, like it just opens up everything else for your team, especially on the running aspect. You really want to get that rushing attack going, and then if they focus too much on AJ, then Dobbs gets open, or who's the other guy that was really like he was your number one receiver last year?
It was Kayshon Boutte last year.
Yeah, Boutte. Yeah, yeah.
We also have Matt Collins, who's like he'll be a guy.
Yeah, Hollins. Yeah.
Who like gonna be our like, hey, no one's gonna cover this guy, but like, he can catch the deep ball. So we have a lot.
Yeah, well, Matt Collins was sort of like your deep ball threat, and now you kind of, if you put both him and AJ out there, it kind of creates a pretty good dynamic where it's just like if they focus too hard on the deep ball with AJ, then that gives Hollins room to operate.
Exactly. Oh, I guarantee you, and I can almost envision the play right now. It's gonna be they're gonna line up AJ and Hollins together. AJ's gonna go a couple yards down, and then he's gonna curl in. The safety's gonna bite on AJ, and Matt Collins is catching a touchdown.
And Hollins is
I
gonna
can already call that happening. Yeah, exactly. In terms of like the route tree, it's like it's kind of funny because I know that like the Patriots, we like to run a lot of like the short ball like possessions, like screens and the curls and the shallow cross.
Yeah, well, that's the McDaniel special. He loved to do that with Brady. So yeah,
and I think he's still he's sprinkling it in with May, but but I think that'll be more deadly because they're gonna have AJ Brown who can just go over the top. But like Brandon said, like the go route that we see that are successful, your 60-yard go route home run, end zone balls, like those rely on separation. That's just I'm dropping back and I have faith in AJ winning the route. So
and that's the thing too. The last 2 years, every AJ Brown reception seemed like it had to be the perfect throw for Jalen Hurts to get it to him. And I'm that's the thing. I'm like,
or it just had to be a jump ball and he had to win it. So,
and I'm like Jacob in the sense that AJ Brown, I want him to be successful. And I wanted him gone by the end. Like I was like January, February, March, still wanting AJ the Eagle. Right?
Yeah.
And then we got to April. And then we got to the draft. And I was like, the Eagles are going to draft my Kyle Lemon here if he falls to 20.
Yeah.
And when that happens, I'm like, AJ, you're gone. I'm good. I'm good. I got my duo back. Essentially, I got my duo.
Yeah.
And that's
it's the same thing over again. Now you have the guy that's been with the team for a while, and then now you have bring in a rookie. Yeah.
So it's I got a duo that I'm looking forward to, and I got a duo that is gonna just do their job and play football.
Yeah.
And not
so you're saying So you're saying right after the draft, you were like, okay, AJ.
I was after the draft. After the draft.
Yeah, well, I was way earlier on you that I wanted him gone as soon as we lost to the Niners. So
here's the thing:
you were more patient than me.
I was patient with it because I didn't know where the route and that's the thing too. I kind of saw the tea leaves when they signed Marquise Hollywood Brown and traded for Wicks. I saw the tea leaves, like AJ's probably gone, but I was like, I still want it to work.
Yeah.
And then the wedding stuff happened with some of the Eagles teammates were there, but Jalen wasn't there. I don't think that was I don't think that was like a big a deal as everyone made it out.
No, I don't think that's I didn't take too much from that either.
But here's one that kind of Devontae's softball game, right? AJ doesn't go to Devontae's softball game. His new teammate Christian Gonzalez did.
Yeah.
But not Devontae, not Arthur Juan, AJ Brown.
Yeah.
AJ has his. Devontae's there, and Gonzalez is there. So I was like, okay, AJ is not at Devontae's, I was like, okay, he's gone from Philly. He still has his camp in Allentown, right? And he's like, oh, like, all this and that before the trade happens.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, there's, I don't think there's a chance he stays in Philly at this point. But it's like, okay, he still loves the fans, this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
And then the trade happens. And then he does his goodbye message. People said it was AI, and I it's just the way he did his goodbye message to me, and then the Maria Taylor interview really soured me for a little bit on AJ Brown. Because he said he was a Pats fan, this, that, and the other. He had the rug in his man cave. And I was like, since he was on the Eagles, and he had the Pats rug on in his man cave. Apparently.
Yeah.
And I was like,
well, look, I don't think that's true. I just think he's lying.
I think he's lying at that.
I don't think ingratiate himself with Pats fans and things like that. Yeah.
If it's true, I love him.
It just shows that the Patriots stuff that he did, because he had the Element jersey before. He was on the Element Gronk podcast and winked and all this stuff. So created that conspiracy when he did the Maria Taylor interview, and I'm like, okay, it's whatever. I think AJ Brown's going to have a good year for the Patriots. I don't think it's going to be better. Like I said, I think I have on tap for Devontae a 1,300, 1,400 yard receiving season. I really do.
Yeah,
I could even see him going 1,500 if the offense is actually cooking like we think it is going to be. I think he could have a 1,500 yard season. I don't think Jalen won't ever produce a 16 to 2,000 yard guy. I just don't think Jalen Hurts is going to throw that ball that many times.
But are you talking about Drake or Jalen?
Jalen.
Oh, okay.
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
I just don't see it in the cards. A 1,600, but Devontae has that potential to get 16 to 2,000 yards in the season.
Well, I do think we'll probably go back to being more of a rush first offense.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So I think that the astronomical wish goal is 1,500 for Devontae.
Yeah.
I think the realistic is 1,300. I think that's realistic.
Yeah.
This year, especially without AJ still half to half targets. I think Devontae's going to get the majority of the targets. I think Mekhi Lemon's going to get
you just think of the way Hurts throws the ball too. He likes to distribute to many different receivers.
Yep.
So
Goddard's going to get targets too.
Goddard's going to get his looks. Lemon's going to get his looks. So
and I think Wicks and Brown get their looks too. Hollywood. I think Hollywood will get some.
Yeah.
And even Barkley catches out of the outfield. So
yeah, exactly.
Barkley catches out of the backfield. I think they're going to throw to him more this year. So I could see Devontae literally 1,300, 9-10 touchdowns this year. I think AJ Brown probably 12-5.
Yeah, I can see. Yeah, but like you said, 13, 1,400 is more realistic for him, honestly.
Yeah, I think 13 to 14 is realistic for AJ too in this Patriots offense. It's just one, he's got to prove that he can say his knee is healthy, and his hamstring's healthy for me. And for what I'm seeing in the burst isn't there.
Yeah, the training camp stuff. Yeah,
the training camp stuff and the no pads, and the burst is not the same burst as it was in 22 and 23.
Yeah,
in early parts of 24. I just for me right now.
I guess we'll really find out how well that knee does when we get to the preseason stuff.
Exactly, and I think AJ is going to play some preseason.
Yeah,
he hasn't played preseason the last few years.
He should.
Well, I think. Here's the thing: preseason, nobody really cares about it, and most likely it'll be like him and Drake play one preseason game. They play the first preseason game, and that's it.
Yeah,
just to get that rep going.
That's the thing too. The Eagles the last 3-4 years under Sirianni, the last 5-6 years under Sirianni.
Yeah, we don't play our starters.
Yeah, don't play our starters at all in preseason. and that's what AJ Brown is going to come in and actually play in preseason for one of the first times in a long time since he was with Vrabel. So we'll see what happens with that. The other thing now I want to get into the last thing I want to get into before we wrap up is going back to what I saw today from Eagles camp. I looked at the notes. I was at work. I was at a place all day where I couldn't really see the live, like follow along live with the feed because we had no cell service where I was at. So I couldn't really do it. So I had to catch up on the way home, and I caught myself up pretty good to a point that I feel confident when I say this. This Eagles offense, the way it looked today, Jalen was way more confident throwing over in the middle than I have heard or seen over the last 3 years.
I wouldn't even say 3 years. After his entire career, he never throws over the middle.
Yeah. And so there's sometimes he does in certain moments.
Yeah, but that's every now and then.
Every now and then. But
I'm going to assume that. I'm going to assume that that's like an aggregate. This bugs me. So like when Jacob says something like you've never seen him like throwing the ball over the middle, I'm pretty sure on an aggregate you're correct.
I'm saying that from the aggregate. I've seen him throw over the middle too. It's just aggregate. Yeah, exactly. I always go off of aggregate.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know if it's happening like in sports media. I'll be watching something and some people throw over the middle, and then like you'll look at YouTube and someone will be watching and they'll show a clip throwing over the preseason Falcons, and then it'll be like fraud. Like and subscribe. Like no, he doesn't throw over the middle often. You're correct.
Well, look, it's like 4 or 5 times a game, and I think a lot of it is because we have such a huge line that it's hard for him to really look, and he's only 6'1", so he's not a big quarterback. So I think it's hard for him to see over the line and really see like a path towards the middle. And I just think, and some of it I think is because maybe the route trees aren't, or the protection packages aren't comfortable enough for him, like where he can step up and see over the middle. Whereas now that we brought in Mannion, and what was Mannion's thing when he was the quarterback coach for the Packers? He loved throwing over the middle because Jordan Love loves throwing over the middle, and he knows how to create packages and route trees and protection stuff to be able for a quarterback to maneuver so he can see over in the middle. I think is more so what we're seeing out of the Eagles camp that obviously Brandon was talking about earlier. He was thrown over the middle, and the Eagles offense looks completely different than last year, which is obviously to be expected because we have a new OC, but it looks so much more varied is what I mean.
The best throw of the day was to Devontae over the middle. He beats Quignon on a crosser over the middle. It was a good timing throw right in stride. Devontae catches and runs. It wasn't a touch classified as a touchdown because training camp you can't really do any run out the catch and count for a touchdown. But if it was probably in a game, might have been a good chance for a touchdown the way it was on the field. Another thing I caught from Eagles camp, like I said earlier, was the Cooper DeJean in base defense. It's safety. That was alluded to on the Exciting Mike's podcast. With Vic Fangio in the offseason with Reed and Cooper, with Reed and now in Houston, obviously. And Cooper, they're still doing their pod. It's just with Reed and obviously with the Texans now, and like it's like Jason and Travis with the New Heights kind of a thing now. Instead of 2 teammates doing it, it's 2 friends doing it. In this case, not the brothers, but the 2 friends doing it. But they had Vic on, and Vic did kind of allude to that Cooper's going to have a new role. You'll see him less on the outside corner this year. And the first day of camp, you saw Cooper DeJean in the base package at safety. I think it was alongside Epps at first, but Makuba also got reps. I think it will end up being Makuba and DeJean as
the safeties.
in base, and then Epps will step in and when they go to nickel. When they go to nickel.
I can see that. Look, in college, Cooper also played a little bit of safety.
Yeah.
So it's definitely within his wheelhouse if he wants to, if they want to do that. And they also could do other packages where he doesn't have to, he can go back to his nickel corner sort of position for a second or two. And then, they could transition back into like, okay, we need you back on the back line as a safety. So I just feel like I just feel like for both of our defense with Fangio and I think our offense with Manuel, I just feel like it's just going to be so much more varied on both sides of the ball that it's just like I'm super excited and confident about our ability to compete for a Super Bowl.
Yes. That my thing is too, and with the Cooper dues to safety. That is because Rick Woolen has been dominant. He was dominant in spring.
Yeah.
I think today he was pretty good in their first practice. I didn't hear anything really negative on Woolen.
No, his big thing was more OTAs. He was dominant in OTAs.
Yeah. That's what you heard, and it's like, okay, they made the right decision getting Woolen. And Quinyon's going to lock up his side. Woolen's going to lock up his side and base. Who you going to have along with, like, it makes sense for Cooper DeJean to step up and be that guy. And you want to have your best players on the field at all times. Why take out Cooper DeJean?
Yeah, why not just do something he did before? Why not, transition him to a different position? It's not like you can't what were you going to say, Shane?
Oh, I was going to say, I think that's scary for the rest of the league to have to deal with. Like, if you bring in a guy that's so locked down that you can move DeJean to a safety position, and a position where, like you said, like you can put him in nickel. So if they see like a slot receiver, they want DeJean. That to me that's going to give offensive coordinators.
Like literally, it's scary because then you don't know what package they're going to throw at you because they could switch at it at a moment's notice. Because Fangio is so good at doing that, where he disguises a look and then he'll fake you out, be like, okay, do you think DeJean is going to be the nickel corner or the safety on this possession? And then he'll be like, he'll set him up in a different part of the field that'll make it look like, oh no, he's going to do nickel. And then you see him come right back over the top as the safety. So I just feel like the packages are just going to be insane on defense.
I think
and that's the thing.
Such a cool play to watch.
Yeah.
When you have they'll fake a blitz or they'll flake to cover you.
Yeah, and then they just bail. Yeah.
No, I was going to say that's the thing. So Cooper was an All-Pro at nickel last year, and then Quinyon was obviously All-Pro at corner last year.
Yeah.
I think they're still going to be. I think Cooper's still going to be an All-Pro at corner, like nickel. Again, and I think Quinyon's still going to be all pro at corner. I just don't see the drop off for either one of these guys, and Woolen along with side that it's the Eagles and the Texans who have the best secondaries in the league, and and the others not even close, in my opinion. It's the Eagles and the Texans.
I just think in terms of defenses, we'll definitely be within the top three. I think it will definitely be within that top. Just because now that we have Carter locked up, and we have our D line is just. I know everybody. I was sad to see Phillips go because I really wanted him to stay for us to find a way to get him.
I'm glad. To be honest with you, I'd rather have had Grenard 100 out of 100.
Okay, yeah.
100 out of 100.
Okay.
Pressures are great, but what I want, actually getting the quarterback down and losing the game.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good point.
And Phillips never finishes. And the contract that he got from Carolina, compared to the Grenard's contract that we just gave him the extension, I'd rather have Grenard in his contract. He actually, when healthy, gets to the quarterback and brings him down.
Yeah, brings him down. Like it doesn't matter. I agree with that. I agree. Pressure don't matter. It's all about
the quarterback, but doesn't get him to the ground.
Yeah.
That is where I'm at. Like it's like I like
It's like in the wild card game. We had all these pressures on Purdy, but we never got him on the freaking ground.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You never got him to the ground.
Yeah.
And he was able to make the dagger throws that he needed to make.
Yeah, because all of his stuff didn't come in the pocket. It was all outside of the pocket.
Yep.
They made those plays. Yeah.
Yep.
And when you think of the fact that Kittle was gone and he was hitting punches, like with a couple of those just like evades.
Yeah.
Where it's just like he would do a pump fake and then he would just be able to outrun Davis to the sideline and be able to find somebody at the last second.
Yeah, that's the thing. The fact that Kittle was gone. That now we can we're about to wrap up here soon. We can go on this a little bit. So back to January. Kittle tears his Achilles, right? Which he's about to come he's a freak of nature, Kittle. He's already almost ready to come back. Like it's crazy. He's on track for them. I don't know if it'll be week 1, but it might be week 2, week 3, maybe. But he's trying to get back for week 1, Kittle.
Yeah, I don't know about that because of the position he plays.
Right.
I just think he'll probably be back around week 8. I would say week 8.
Well, that's the thing too. But according to his doctors and what he has said, he's good. He's on pace to play in Australia. That is what from Kittle himself. But we don't know officially until officially. Yeah. But anyway, the Eagles sit defensively in January. Had no Kittle to deal with. Obviously, the receiving core for the Niners wasn't great all year. And Purdy was up or down all year.
Yeah.
And you allow, 15 points in that second half to lose the game?
It was 15 points, yeah.
I think it was 15 points.
But we also only scored 3 as an offense in the second half.
Yes, exactly. We were up at halftime in that game and then lose it in the second half. And that's partially the defense because Reed had a busted coverage on McCaffrey in the second half that killed us. I think it was the go-ahead one. No, it was the touchdown, the trick play touchdown.
The trick play touchdown, yes.
It was the sole touchdown of the game for Cisco, right? Or 1 or 2, maybe?
Well, they had another touchdown.
No, they had 2. They had one at the end with a Purdy rush, and then there was that trick play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And McCaffrey. No, McCaffrey. I think McCaffrey scored both touchdowns. I think he.
McCaffrey did. Yeah, I thought it was a Purdy rush in there, but I'm thinking of a different game that happened.
McCaffrey had 2 McCaffrey had 2 touchdowns against us late receiving, both receiving.
Well, don't forget, Brandon. The reason the defense really let up on that was because they were on the field the entire second half.
Yes, exactly. Because
so
the
now,
offense didn't get anything done.
Like I said, we were talking about earlier about the offense. I just feel like literally all the Eagles' offense needs to do this season, just stay on the freaking field.
Yes.
Get at least 3 points. Make it a long drive. I don't care.
Move the chains.
Even if it's a 5-6 minute drive. And we get, on their side of the field, but we have to punt it because we're not in field goal range. We're on the very outskirts of it. That's fine because they got 5-6 minutes rest over there on defense. So that's all I want them to do on offense. If we score, we score. Great. If we're looking great on offense, that's a plus. But the bar that I'm setting is just stay on the field for as long as possible and do long drives consistently.
And then here's another thing we'll talk about real quick too, going back to the Niners side. Obviously, the Kyle Shanahan, the accident, he's limited right now with his ribs. He was on the phone during the accident, but they were saying the 21-year-old was at fault because swerved into the lane, had a head-on collision. I would say Shanahan said it himself. He was at fault. I think being on the phone and driving is, causes a lot of accidents.
It's tantamount to DUI, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, what I was going to bring up before we close is Pearsall. This was 7 hours ago. Apparently, he's dealing with knee swelling related to the PCL injury he suffered last year.
Ooh.
So knee swelling around that PCL, and team is saying all options are being explored, and there is some concern with Ricky Pearsall heading into the season again. So there's that case. Ultimately,
do you think it's because they have their practice facility right next to an electric facility?
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, you think? Yeah, I'm thinking because that's the conspiracy going around. I think that's it. Yeah,
I think that's definitely it. And then Neighbors looked good. His first practice back at training camp off of his knee ACL injury.
Yeah.
He looked better than running. They said he in his so the Giants are looking. Neighbors is looking up. And then
was Scatabo? I thought I saw a few clips of him. Was he at the training camp?
Yes.
Okay, I thought so. Yeah.
He was there. I think he was there. I think he was doing some stuff. I think he was doing non-contact stuff. Non-contact stuff. I think Scatter's still technically not ready.
I think he was just doing individual work. It was more so from what I saw, it looked like more individual than he was like involved with the offense.
Exactly. And then one other thing before we wrap up fully and promote the socials and all that good stuff. And promote the other two shows and the other show I have on myself on Friday. Is the fact of the matter is we made it, boys. We made it. We officially have made it to NFL training camp. Which means preseason will be starting, which means college football will be starting, which will be getting into some more college football on the show as well. That's why I call it End Zone Rush, not just
NFL End Zone Rush.
Yeah, so we'll be going to some college on this show. I'll try to bring as many JMU storylines and updates as possible on the show as well. I'm sure Jacob will do some Arizona stuff. Maybe. I know you're
a little bit. I don't really like as an Arizona fan. Our football team is up and down all the time, so maybe not too much stuff unless something big happens, like we upset a big team or something.
Right.
So,
but yeah, the thing is too. We'll keep as long as I'll bring the JMU stuff all the time, but we also bring the big storylines once they happen. Because that's the thing. I love giving spotlight to my because they're. Made the CFP last year. I don't know if we'll make the CFP this year because of how the CFP's changed because of the two group of five last year. So with that being said, let's promote socials real quick at the end here. Obviously, we have a big show. I think this show will probably be around the biggest one of our biggest shows on here on Ellis Highlight Reel every week. Because we love talking football. And we, and
especially with the season now getting underway.
Yeah. I think it'll be one of the bigger shows. The limited range basketball will be still a big show, which will be every Monday. Probably be about the 45 to 55 minutes. Off the white baseball will still be big. And on Friday, my Friday show probably be about 30 minutes to an hour. Maybe more. I don't want to go too long on these because like an hour and a half is what I want to go to. But you never know if I'm interviewing somebody, for instance, one of my local reporter buddies, I can get them on. That's the thing. I got to ask for permission and all that stuff. But if I can get them on, I've probably talked to them for a solid 15, 20 minutes just about the high school scene on my Friday show, which will start this week. I'm going to start that show. It'll be Friday afternoon, probably around 12 to 1 in the afternoon. We're doing it in the afternoons because, like I said, the time slot that we have for the other shows, I'll be occupied probably if I can get the clearance to cover high school. So I'll be covering high school games, writing that up for the blog. That's the thing. I just got to make sure I get the media clearance, the ADs around town. Just depends on what I can get. I mean, I know for sure I can probably get my alma mater, and then maybe a few others. But those articles will be on Ellis, like I said earlier, at ellishighlightreel.wordpress.com, which I'll be getting up and running tomorrow. I have time when we actually do it tomorrow. Get a few up, talking about Devontae's, big day or fantasy season, a little bit more depth in that article. AJ struggles maybe in an article, and then probably talking about my pick for my pick for MVP in the woman in WNBA right now. So that would probably be the 3 articles I put out tomorrow. But yeah, and then obviously _BOs32 on Instagram, 30BOs on X. You're watching me on YouTube or TikTok, Ellis Highlight Reel, and then my Facebook's at Brandon Ellis. I might be making a Ellis Highlight Reel specific Facebook page, maybe. Just depends. But I think right now it's just the Brandon Ellis on Facebook's fine. So with that being said, let's promote these guys' socials.
All right. I'll go first. You can find me on Instagram at JDPerrine24, like you see on the screen there. You can also find me at totalapexsports.com. You just type my name into Google, like on the screen. The first thing that pops up is my page on totalapexsports.com. You can go on there, find all the articles I've ever written for Total Apex on there. And then, you can also find my muck rack. My muck rack also comes up when you Google my name. So check both of those out. Shane?
Yeah. So you can find me at Instagram at in there. You can find me on X, written the same way. You can also find me, obviously, at Total Apex sports.com. There are articles to do. And also figure, just throw this out fully on Facebook. I promoted the podcast a couple times on there. So if you on YouTube, because the Facebook Live, I'm notifying every time that we go live. And like Brandon said, not only on Limitless Range and this show, but also, and I'm not they're my boys. I've seen it. All Wall is a great show. It's going to do some really cool stuff on Zone, though.
Yeah. Thank you, Shane, for that. I appreciate that. The Off the Wall show will continue. We got a big show Sunday. We got a big show. Trade deadline will be that Wednesday afternoon. The following Wednesday after our show, which will be recapped on the following Sunday. I wish we could do like what some YouTube channels are doing with the reaction from 12 to 6 of the trades. That's when I'm at work. I'm at work. Yeah. I can't leave, obviously do that.
You got conflicts going on. Yeah.
I got conflicts, but I might be talking to Chris about doing the reactions to the deadlines after a short 30-minute thing after the deadline on that Wednesday next week, which will delay this show a little bit. If so, we'll figure it out. If not, we'll just wait till the following Sunday, and break it all down and just do this show at normal time. But every Wednesday, this show will be around the 7:30 time frame. The week 1 with Seattle and New England game, I am thinking that will be the only Wednesday show that will probably be earlier. I'm thinking,
just so we can watch the game,
so we can watch the game and preview the game. That would be the only one that would be earlier. So we'll tell you when it comes time for that. But with that being said, this has been the first episode of End Zone Rush here on Ellis Highlight Reel. And I'm your host, as always, Brandon Ellis. And peace out, everybody.
Peace.
Yeah.